Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome to Drinks
yeah,
with
this is
Tegis.
nice.
Famously with Tegis.
Mhm.
I don't need all that life. So, welcome back to hopefully your favorite little bonus episode that we do. I think it's my favorite. Kind of iffy on this one. I have to talk a lot more than normal in these, so it's up in the air for me. But you know, it is my show, so I guess I should be like, oh, support me. But we do good things here. If you don't watch Comic Book Catch Up or Manga Mustard, check those out. I'm here today with a return guest. Last time I think we didn't talk about his favorite drink because we're filthy little liars. This time I think we might be. I'm here with the one and only Joshua Noel, the Josh with the bad opinions. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. I think I've been on like 2 or 3 times, and I have 2 or 3 favorite drinks, and we've not talked about any of them until today.
Yeah. So today, we are talking about, of course, if you know Josh, you can probably guess, but we're talking about rum. Yeah. Praise. What are you drinking?
Yeah. So famously inspired from the Drake or Drake, I don't remember how you pronounce that. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. Possibly the first mixed drink by Sir Francis Drake. His drink was medicinal bark, rum, and what else did he have? Lime juice, yeah, obviously. So I have half orange juice, half rum, half lime juice, no medicinal bark. It's really how we get the mojito, I think, right? And kind of far-fetched from that, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like
But
mojito a lot.
I don't have any mint, so I just went with
A lot of
orange.
bars don't either.
That's sad.
Yeah.
They should do better.
Olive Garden always has my back, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, did not know.
Yeah. Grog also is a mixed rum drink, by the way.
Yeah, that's from my favorite pirate. Yeah, I think it's funny. Our favorite pirates, TJ's favorite is Sir Francis Drake, which is where we get the Drake. Eventually becomes mojitos, and then my favorite pirate is Captain Henry Morgan. Neither are really pirates, by the way, but not quite privateers because that didn't exist at their time. I found that out earlier today.
Yeah.
That term just wasn't really a thing yet. But, you know, they both had letters of marque. But yeah, Captain Morgan is the one that came up with grog, which is what's rum, lime juice, and a little bit of beer mixed in.
Yeah.
Of course, their beer was like, yeah. Well, and the beer that they would use for that particular thing was only going to be like 2% alcohol, barely anything. It was just enough to like not let germs in there. And rum back then was super potent, and you just couldn't drink it straight. Which would not have been possible.
Yeah,
So,
not for them.
You know, they found a way around. Yeah, I was like, And you know, I still drink our version of grog today, but you have to use a cheap beer for that. I feel like you're cheating if you use a good beer. But you know, you get some spiced rum, like a little bit of PBR in there and some lime juice just for the effect to say, like, this is kind of grog inspired. Just for the hell of saying you did it, you know?
Yeah. So,
yeah,
you've been on the show. I think you're the only person who's seen all the episodes.
Possibly.
Probably. Yeah. So I think you know what's next. What do you know about the history of rum?
I probably know more than most people, but probably not a ton still. You see, I have my my pirate picture up on my wall, and they can't quite see the. Let's see, without I have a pirate chest down there. You can kind of see it, yeah. But I have a pirate chest, mostly filled with rum and stolen things. Actually, not like stolen, more like took a break from some ruins I wasn't supposed to take. A bolt from the Cardinal Stadium in Arizona. If the Cardinals are listening, sorry. You know, no biggie. But yeah, so I'm big into pirates, and the history of rum and pirates are kind of inseparable, I guess is the right term. Let's see if I can I'll let you fill in what I miss. But I know early on we had a lot of in like the West Indies and the Caribbean, there was a lot of like cane sugar wine. It wasn't until after the French created brandy, however, which was like their wine distilled, that the original intent was to kind of dehydrate it and then rehydrate once it's been transported. It was just kind of for transportation sake. And one of those sailors transporting it drank some and went, "Hey, wait a minute. This is way better than regular wine."
Yeah.
And then
So
brandy became super popular. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So right here, it's that wine. It was only called wine because that was, it's fermented alcohol. Well, all alcohol's fermented, whatever. But it was wine like, so they just didn't know what to call it. They just called it wine.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you know this. This is fun, just like random fun fact about whiskey too. At the time, alcohol, since it was like Arabic in origin, a lot of your European countries wouldn't use the term alcohol. So they had different versions that was like the water of life, which is like the original Irish term for whiskey was just the water of life because they didn't want to say alcohol because that's just a little too pagan. And since the church was one of the biggest sponsors of these stronger drinks, the church was like, yeah, we don't want to be associated with Islamic groups, so we'll just come up with a new word for alcohol. Yeah. Okay, so we have brandy, and then rum was more of like the slaves that went to Jamaica because cane sugar for a long time was like the highest traded spice. I guess spice isn't even the right word. What would you say? Agriculture?
Yeah.
I
Product.
don't know. Yeah, it's like the highest selling anything because people just found sugar, and it's funny because you can even look at like paintings of like European kings and stuff, and it went from like really skinny kings to cane sugar became a big deal, and all of a sudden all the paintings were really fat kings. So it's kind of funny. But when they were trading the cane sugar and stuff, the slaves in Jamaica discovered they could do some stuff with this byproduct of cane sugar called molasses, and they kind of created their own sugar wine and eventually used the same methods to distill it that they were using for brandy, and that's how we got rum. Which I think like the Indie, like one of the West Indies words for sugar wine was like prom or something, rum, grom. I don't
Grom.
know. Yeah, and they just kind of like took a derivative of that. That's how we got the word rum. And at some point, the reason it's really associated with pirates, a few different reasons. A lot in the American colonies discovered, hey, cane sugar, all the money we're making is going back to the kings and all this kind of stuff. All the money's from all this, everything else, everything we do, the money's going back to Europe. So a lot of people just started trading rum for stuff instead. How are they going to tax you? You're not even using coins. I'm just trading this barrel of rum for, these slaves. Trading my barrel of rum for whatever crops, the corn, whatever. You're not able to get taxed the same way.
Mm-hmm.
When I think was it Will and Mary when they took over England? I don't know.
When the
Some new kings showed up in England and basically made a law that was alcohol from corn. That's great. We love whiskey. That French stuff, you got to cut it out, and rum also illegal. All of a sudden, all these people who you got to think of these farmers who were using cane sugar, most of their money that they were actually able to get was going to be from the rum because all the rest was going back to Europe. Now they're in a bad spot. That's when they start, suddenly making some deals where the French ship was taking a little extra rum, and then pirates conveniently went and got it. And, what is the government going to say? Pirates don't be doing that. They're pirates. They don't care. So that's how pirates got associated with that. How we get Captain Morgan with his whole rum empire in Tortuga, all that kind of stuff. What's funny is even like a lot of your ships early on would have like portions to keep sailors from drinking too much rum. Like, yeah, you're only allowed this much portion because, even pirates, they can't be drunk all the time. That notion is awful. Otherwise, they're just going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't really as much a thing. But whenever you get to like the Revolutionary War, rum was such like an American commodity. Like that is like an American thing. George Washington actually gave portions, like required people to drink some rum before they went out to battle. He was like, yeah, no, rum. We need it. Yeah.
So a little while there before rum became illegal to buy and sell, it was actually officially recognized as a currency.
Nice.
Breweries would make extra strength rum for slave currency specifically. And then also regular rum could be used as currency just for a little while, not super long time. The first rum distillery in the United States, which wasn't the United States at the time because it was 1664,
Mhm.
was unfortunately on Staten Island.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. If you're not a fan of New England, this is the bad part of the story. Because for
yeah.
a good long while, rum was the biggest product, like export of New England by
Mhm,
far. Because the first rum distillery was in Staten Island. The second one was in Boston.
mhm. Yeah. Yep. You know, what's really interesting with some of this too is just like when you get at like some of the like religious, political, political stuff behind all of it. Just because like Henry Morgan, I like the part of why I really love his story is like his family was such associated with like some of the different kings and stuff in Europe. That's why he ended up becoming a privateer because he had to get out of all that mess. But it's interesting also because when you get to like why some pirates and sailors were the first people to discover rum, pirates were a lot of the times crewed by slaves trying to get free and women who were like, yeah, we don't want to be part of this patriarchal system. Go on a pirate ship. That was kind of the answer. Maybe not a great answer. It was an answer. Some of those slaves brought rum on, and these guys were like, hey, this will get you there quicker. You know, I think a lot of the stories that I read early on, brandy was the good stuff, rum was the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so there is an estimate in Food in History by Ray Tannehill that in colonial America, or like early colonial America before the Revolutionary War, uh, the consumption of rum was 3 imperial gallons of rum each year for every man, woman, and child.
Dear God.
3 gallons, 14 liters a
That's
year
crazy.
for everybody,
Man.
every person.
Truly crazy.
If you extract, if rum was consumed the same amount today, which it might be, that would
Not
be
by most people.
almost 1 billion gallons of rum for this country
Gosh.
every year.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. The religious stuff that's interesting too is like you have to think England at this time, it's the Church of England and the king, which still the king is involved, but he was way more involved with that then. So for a long time, it was like common Christian thought was whiskey's a good Christian drink. Christians drink whiskey, but Christians don't really do brandy or rum unless you were Protestant, in which case you almost drank rum because, yeah, screw the Catholics, screw the English church, especially if you were American Protestant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like we'd be remiss to move on without mentioning naval rum, because rum's a
Hmm.
big part of the Navy too. Or was before the Navy got lame. Uh, so Navy, and this is about Britain's Navy, of course, because it's about the time. Uh, but once rum became associated with privateers because they traded in it, uh, after privateers left the business and were like, I don't want to work for the royalty. Uh, they
Hmm.
still liked rum. They liked running it. They liked drinking it, and it started in, I think it was like the 1650s. Uh, a royal naval fleet captured the island of Jamaica.
Hmm.
And then, they had Jamaica's production of rum now. So they
Hmm.
changed the daily ration of liquor from French brandy to rum.
Good choice.
And naval rum was originally a blend from rums produced in the West Indies, like we kind of mentioned.
Hmm.
And it was supplied at a 57% alcohol by volume.
Hmm.
If you're in the
Man,
UK and you go by Navy strength rum, is what they call it now, that is 57% alcohol by volume.
that's like what 114 proof.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
100 UK
Yeah.
proof.
Yeah. Uh, For
different.
context, if you ever drink Malibu, that's like 42 proof.
Yeah,
So
42 proof.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
20%.
it's more than twice that strong.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
incredible.
I feel like most rums that people drink these days are around 30, 35. I know most rums I drink are 35. The
Percent or
most rums you
proof?
drink are 35%.
Yeah,
I
it's like
I
70
use
proof.
percentage.
Yeah, makes sense. It's easier.
Proof reminds me of algebra and geometry and math in general.
It makes me feel like I'm in chemistry class. Although
Yeah, I didn't
I'll say
mind those
for some
much.
reason I'll do percent unless it's like 100 proof, in which case for some reason that just sounds better. So I'll say 100 proof, like the
Yeah,
Captain Morgan 100 proof. I will always
yeah,
call it that.
yeah. So there is you could talk about the history of rum forever, probably.
True.
It is literally hundreds of years to get to where we are now. And even farther than that, if you count things that are kind of like rum that were
It's
distilled
like
from
because
other sugars.
yeah, like really you'd have to go through the whole history of like mead and everything to truly develop that well.
Yeah, it was Marco Polo himself, the man,
Yeah.
the myth, the legend, uh, in the 14th century, talked about a sugarcane wine that he was given. Uh, Brum has been produced by
Oh, yeah.
the people in Malay for over 1,000 years.
Hmm. Yeah. And it said Christopher Columbus actually brought sugarcane like seeds. Like he was part of his plan when he was looking for India was to try and plant sugarcane.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's mention of a sugar wine produced in Sanskrit texts.
Oh man,
So
that's
if you
crazy.
want to loosen your definition of rum, you could. It only gets bigger and longer.
Yeah.
Uh, but
I'm kind of curious when rum got good though, because it sounds like it was not good whenever it was first being distilled in Jamaica.
yeah, so like I know, like distilling sugar, you'd think like, oh, it's got to be good. You're just making sugar water. That's not
Mhm.
true. Tequila is bad.
That's true. That's gross.
And
Yeah.
if you'd like to see proof of that from my perspective, go check out the tequila episode with Kino Kennedy.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what I think though? I think it's part of like rum is so versatile. I think it's like most wines and stuff, or like even brandy, where it's like developed from other stuff. It's gonna like even whiskey. It's gonna like carry over some of the flavor from the grain itself, like the corn or whatever.
Mhm.
When it's just sugar being distilled, it's just gonna become alcohol. So then
Yeah,
you can turn it into like all kinds of stuff. That's why we have so many different types of rum. I think that's
yeah,
just me guessing though,
yeah. I'm a
but
dark
makes
rum kind
sense.
of person.
There's very few rums I don't enjoy. I have to be honest. I don't know if I've ever had to rum. I was just like, yeah, that was bad.
I'm a big fan. Captain Morgan Private
Oh,
Stock.
that is a good one.
That's
Those are
what
quite
I choose
enjoyable.
to have.
Man, if we're just talking about like, I don't, it's hard for me to do favorites. I want to just straight up say, not Kraken rum, like a yes Kraken rum, but there's like Kraken rum black. So Kraken rum itself is a dark rum, but there's a difference between a dark rum and a black rum. It's just like the spices, I think. Kraken rum black with some Coca-Cola, which is one of my other favorite beverages we haven't talked about on here. I think that I like that a lot. Also, Kraken Black's really good if I'm like seasoning meat. I'll even season my turkey with it for Thanksgiving a lot of times, which
It's
we all know
good.
how I feel about turkey. It's got to be pretty special for me to care about, you know, doing anything to my turkey with it. Um, if I'm mixing it with like a juice, like orange juice or something like that, I like Jamaican Myers rum, which is I think it's a spiced rum still, but it's a
Myers.
little bit cheaper too. Yeah, is Myers a spiced rum?
Oh yeah, and it is
Yeah,
dirt cheap.
yeah,
Usually
it's
the
good for
cheapest
juices
rum you
though.
can find.
True, and it's good. And then obviously, I'll say obviously, some people know my go-to mix. You get black Malibu. It's a little bit sweeter than regular Malibu. Also, it looks darker. Mix that with a white monster. That stuff is good. So good. Also
Hmm.
dangerous. Just asterisk for everyone listening. Dangerous. But man, is that good.
Hmm.
Yeah. When we go to
Yeah.
Cumberland Island, I'll just drink a bunch of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My personal favorite rum drink is probably rum, any of it, in Dr. Pepper. And when I say any of it, I'm almost not kidding.
Say Malibu and Dr. Pepper doesn't sound like it'd be great.
No, it is.
That coconut flavor with.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
It's so
All
good.
right. I feel you. I see. It's
Because
hard to do.
well, hold on. The
Yeah.
main note of flavor in Dr. Pepper most of the time it is black cherry. Is cherry. So cherry and coconut. It's great.
Really?
Yeah,
Have I tried that? It seems like something I would have tried while you were
maybe.
around at some point. I don't remember that. I need to try that.
But the one that I know I don't like with Dr. Pepper is Bermuda Dark Seal rum.
I don't even know if I've tried that.
It's just too thick.
I'm gonna take your word for it. Yeah, because I don't. Unfortunately, as much as I love rum, I can't really be like a connoisseur or whatever. I don't have enough money to try all the rum out there.
Hmm.
Just not really a thing. I
Yeah,
want to make
it's
my
not
own
feasible.
someday, but yeah. What about like okay, other mixed drinks? I really like frozen drinks. So this is weird. So I like really dark beers and stuff too. Like, but you'll either see me with like a dark beer, like a really fruity frozen drink that has like a bunch of different kinds of rums in it. Like I love hurricanes and then pina
Mhm.
colada. Pina colada is good. A good pina colada. Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, that'll hit
that
me.
is where I'm very different because I'll tell people like, "Oh yeah, I like rum drinks," but
Mm.
almost every rum cocktail you're gonna buy is gonna have pineapple juice in it, and
Yeah,
I hate
and you don't
pineapple
like
juice.
pineapple. Wait. Okay, pineapple Malibu and Dr Pepper. That's got to
This
be
is
bad
probably
for you,
still
right?
good.
Okay, with pineapple, is it more of like a mouthfeel thing, or is it like the flavor itself?
No, it's the flavor. I don't like the flavor.
Hmm, weird.
I
For
don't
me, it's
care
more
that
a
it's trying
mouthfeel.
to eat me too. I just don't like the way pineapple tastes.
That's
But
fair.
for pineapple Fanta is really good.
Pineapple Fanta, regular Malibu. I bet that's a good drink. It's got to be
Probably.
enjoyable. My first ever mixed drink was Myers Jamaican rum with orange Fanta. I still like that from time to time. It's a weird one,
It's
but I
bad.
enjoy it. Have you tried it?
I don't think so. No, actually, I think I did try it.
I was like, you might have tried that because I do that every now and then.
I'm
I feel
pretty
like
sure
it
I
might
did
just
try
be
it.
more of a nostalgia thing for me, but I enjoy it. Although, to be fair, most things that have some rum, if I can taste the rum in it, I'll enjoy it at least a little bit because I just like that flavor. A
Yeah.
good rum cake, it's great.
So I used to have like a big list of drinks that I'd had, and
Mhm.
then Samsung went through like its last big software generation, and not all of the Samsung notes were transferable, so I lost it. But if I had
Yeah,
tried it, it
that's
probably would have
nice.
been on that list.
Yeah, I you ever go to like AMC when a big movie comes out and they have like their special drinks that they made for the movie?
No,
Oh,
AMC's
well,
so
I do
far
that.
away.
Well, I do that sometimes. And when the last Indiana Jones movie came out, I don't remember what it was called, but they had one of their Indiana Jones drinks was like just four different kinds of rum and some juice in it. I was like, yeah, give me that. It was great. It's quite enjoyable. Ooh, Long Island iced tea. That's rum too, isn't it?
Yeah, I like a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, that's good.
Rum, vodka, triple sec, and gin.
Splash of Coke, right?
No,
Well, I thought there was. I know there's no
no,
tea in it.
not originally. There's not supposed to be a splash of Coke. People
Oh,
add the
okay.
splash of Coke if they didn't use a dark rum.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So do you think you could do like those kind of sweeter drinks? Could you still use like a spice or
I
black
do.
rum? Does it turn out okay?
Hmm. It's
Hmm.
definitely different. It's not the same taste.
Yeah.
I'm usually drinking spiced rum.
Yeah. And as much as like it's funny because like as much as I like all the mixed drinks, the hurricanes and all that, and I know I mentioned earlier, but cooking with rum really can be great if you use the right spiced rum. The problem is, if you just say cooking with rum, people think of like the sweeter rums, and it's like, oh, that sounds disgusting. I'm like, yeah, that would be disgusting. But if you're using a spice rum, the alcohol cooks out. You just have that spice that's left over. That tastes great.
Yeah,
A little splash of regular Captain Morgan on your burger. That hits. It's good.
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Actually, if you were gonna tenderize a steak, if you just like bought
Ooh.
it from your butcher or something, and by your butcher I mean like the Walmart deli, uh, you put in a little bag, a splash of pineapple
Mhm.
juice. I wouldn't do this because I don't like pineapple juice,
Yeah.
but a little splash of pineapple juice in a black rum or a dark rum or a spiced rum, and that's gonna give you an
Mm.
extremely tender cut of steak. That's also gonna taste pretty good, unless you're me.
And hate pineapple. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like cooking with alcohol in general is underrated because I feel like it sounds like somehow it just sounds better to cook with wine, which I guess is still alcohol. But wine is good for some things, especially like chicken. I feel like a white wine cooking in chicken's good. Maybe red wine with some of your darker meats.
Pot roast.
But
I've used
yeah,
Cabernet
that sounds
Sauvignon for
good.
pot roast, and it's really good.
That does sound good. But I just the thing with liquor, why I think it's good for some of your like especially big birds, like if you get like a duck and you're cooking a whole duck, alcohol, I forget what it is, but it keeps it moisture basically. Just the way that it rises into the meat keeps your meat really moist. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are we
Mm-hmm.
allowed to say moist on a podcast? Someone pulling their earbuds out right now?
Listen at your own peril. Moist,
Yeah.
crevice, grotesque, oyster.
Is the oyster one?
Some it's less common, but I know a few people who do not like the word oyster
Would you describe
because it sounds
oyster
like
as
moist.
moist?
I sure would.
Okay. Are we
Damp.
done torturing
Some
them
people
or?
don't like damp.
You know what? I bet Chipotle's carne asada would pair really well with a dark rum. Now think about it.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody go to Chipotle, get a carne asada burrito, take it home, pour a glass, pour a little bit of rum on the rocks, some dark rum.
Mm-hmm.
I like it on the rocks. I feel like the little bit of water from the ice kind of just really brings out the flavor.
Never.
TJ hates ice though. He's gonna have to disagree with me.
Yeah.
So, would you say my opinion about rum being like one of the best is one of my not bad opinions? Is that
I would ignore it.
you would just ignore this? Like this doesn't count towards my record at all?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. We're gonna do a separate episode on Drinks with Tegis at some point about Josh's bad opinions.
Ooh,
And
that'd be
then
a good
you
one.
at home can play along and take a shot every time you hear one and think, wow, that's bad.
Or they can taste whatever drinks that I think are good. Like I guess probably my biggest wrong opinion this episode would be the orange crush in Myers rum
Yep.
mixture.
Have to
So
agree.
yeah. Yeah.
I would rather
if you
drink
want to
orange
know
crush
how
mixed with milk.
that sounds awful.
It is.
Well, so if you want to know how wrong or not I am, take a can of orange crush, pour it in a glass of ice, add a shot of Myers rum. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. Myers
But
rum
more
is the
importantly-
cheapest for a reason.
Yeah. More importantly, though, the actual good drink that I make, if you're not afraid of mixing energy drinks and alcohol, try that White Monster in a Black Malu. Let us know what you think of that down below, because that is good.
That is good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're kind of getting to this faster than I thought we would.
Yeah, me too. Thought we'd spend
Yeah.
a lot more time talking about the history, but I feel like we covered the big notes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
So,
here's the
like-
thing.
If you have a favorite rum drink and you're screaming at us that we aren't talking about it, here's a short list. Dark and Stormy. There
Those
you
are
go.
good.
Short list. But let us know what your favorite rum drink is in the comments. If you leave it without a recipe, I'm going to drive to your house and break your kneecaps.
The Dark and Stormy is what we had at Chapel Hill, right?
Did I do that?
Oh, we had something in a
No,
pitcher.
we had that was a Kentucky.
Oh, that was a mule. That was Kentucky Mule. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more while we're talking about it, just gonna say it. Moscow mules are not good. Vodka
All right.
and ginger beer. It's just ginger beer. Get a Kentucky mule next time you're at an establishment. It's so much better.
Also, you're going to be talking about bourbon with a actual bourbon connoisseur from Kentucky that's related to me come November for Thanksgiving time. So it's a quick plug for the future. I was gonna say, okay, so here's the thing. Ultimately, when we're talking about like why we like rum, I truly can't imagine a more enjoyable time than you, myself, a couple of our other best friends. They know who they are if they're listening. They know. At Cumberland Island, we're near the beach. We hear the ocean. We all have a little bit of rum. And we're just singing some sea shanties because, hey, you know what? Let's stick with the pirate theme. And what do you do with the drunken sailors? Just always a good time.
That is true.
It's just the best thing I can imagine. Sounds fun.
Yeah, get some of the boys together, start singing shanties. We were doing that the other night, building a computer. There's never a bad time. Mm-hmm.
Man, that's so funny. That's so Tiffany likes Greta Van Fleet a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They were watching like some video from one of the concerts they've recently done, and their guitar player Jake is like a big pirate guy, and at some point he just starts like doing a shanty in the middle of it, and he's like, "Throw him in bed with the captain's daughter." I was like, "That's Drunken Sailor." Tiffany's like, "Why do you know that off of one sentence?" I was like, "Why do you not?" That's the real question. Everyone should know that. It's a good one.
Yeah. So, let us know. Josh, do you have closing remarks about rum?
Yeah, we're going to talk about a yo-ho, and a bottle of rum. That's from one of the best books ever, Treasure Island. That's where that comes from. Disney took it, put it to a melody. Also great, but originally, if you're going to credit correctly, you have to credit it to the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Why is all the rum gone?
Yeah. So, I feel like it's so unfair we didn't even mention Jack Sparrow in this. Josh loves Jack Sparrow.
I'm trying to think of something to say about rum. Other than we need more of it, which really is all that needs to be said, Savvy. I don't know. I haven't done the voice in a while. Hopefully that was decent.
Yeah. I haven't heard it in a while.
Was it decent?
It was pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
way to go.
I'm going to go watch Pirates of the Caribbean, I think. Well, I mean, it's 11 at night. I might fall asleep while Pirates of the Caribbean is on. I have to work at 7 a.m.
Yeah. So, let us know what your favorite rum drink is. Send us the hate mail. But most of all, thank you for listening. As always, we love you. Thank you for coming and supporting us here. You could also support us on Patreon. You could also support our other bonus episodes. A lot of really talented people on here. And sometimes I'm on there. So, kind of weaseled my way in. Just, check us out on our main feed for more nerdy stuff and a little bit less delinquent stuff if you're evangelical listening to this. And please drink responsibly. You've heard it before. You've heard it a million times. Be safe. If you're driving listening to this, please don't play along at home by drinking. But I'll see you next time.
Drunkenness is a sin. Being drunk is not.
Yeah. See you next time. Thanks for being here with us on Drinks with Tegis, and I'll see you next time.